months into the season, it's not often that you can boast a unique matchup. Yet here we are. Lexington and Omaha are meeting up for the first time this year, brought to you by UK Healthcare. Welcome one and all to this broadcast. My name is Mark Schutzer as we welcome you in to Toyota Stadium for the first time in nearly 2 months. Lexington is back in front of their home fans, taking on the Owls of Union Omaha. And here is where each of them sit in the standings. Lexington trying to turn the ship here and get into winning form after besting Greenville in the Jägermeister Cup last weekend. Meanwhile, Omaha, with games in hand, are trying to keep up with the likes of the Mingos and the Greenville Triumph. They're all the way at the top of the table. For Lexington, last time they played in a league match was on the road against Spokane Velocity, a 1-1 game that they would get in the lead in the first half of action thanks to this wonderful goal off the bar from Nico Brown. Then in the second half, early on, they would concede and then hang on to the draw after going down a man in that affair. A point apiece in this one between these two sides. A lot to be happy about, though, according to Darren Powell in that performance. And someone else he has something to be happy about is longtime man Modesto Mendez. He started playing for Darren Powell back in 2020 with Inter Miami 2, that at the time known as Fort Lauderdale CF. The only year since then he has not played for Darren Powell was in 2023 when Powell was the assistant coach for Inter Miami, so still in the same building as him, just not his direct head coach. So they've had a blossoming growth together, an understanding of each other. Meanwhile, on the other side of things, Union Omaha, their last league game out was against the Chattanooga Red Wolves, a game where they were able to light up the score sheet, and they've been able to score quite a lot recently. They also scored 4 goals just last Thursday against Chattanooga in the Jägermeister Cup. So offensively, Tom Casciato's side is humming, and they're looking to lock it down defensively to make that wonderful concoction of awesome offense, awesome defense, and try to get on a run like they did last season in the second half of the year that took them all the way to the Players' Shield. 5-2 your final score in this one on the road. They'll be looking for a similar result here in Lexington, Kentucky. And someone who has been a main reason why they've been so productive goal-scoring wise is Pedro Dolabella. As you can see, last 5 games, he scored in 4 of them. And if you can believe it, Dom Casciato told me that they think there is still another gear to Pedro Dolabella, that he still has even better performances ahead of him this year. Let's see if that's going to be the case. He's truly been impressive in this recent stretch of matches. Well, will Omaha climb closer to the League One summit, or have Lexington turn the tides on their season? Let's see what this story holds for us up next on ESPN+. We'll see you after this break.
Lexington is the Kentuckiest place in the world. Just look at it. It's by far the bluegrassiest, the bourbonist. See? The artsiest, and hands down, the horsiest. Oh, look, that one has a baby. I don't know why you would look anywhere else. Looking for the coolest, most Kentuckiest getaway? Look at Lexington.
Girls like you aren't runners, they said. Well, I wasn't.
Let's go ahead and get some pictures of that knee, okay?
6 months, down the drain. Give up
Keep the rhythm going.
or get up?
Perfect.
Who's not a runner now?
Good, we're gonna take it
You
up.
don't have to be an elite athlete to be treated like one. UK Healthcare, orthopedic surgery, and sports medicine. The power of advanced medicine.
Here are our starting lineups. First off, for the home side, Lexington, it'll be a 5-4-1 formation. Nico Brown and Ates Diop will be out a little bit further wide. Meanwhile, Cano, Caputo will be sitting further inside as double pivots. Only one change from their starting lineup against Greenville last weekend in the Jägermeister Cup, and that's Azad Liati stepping in for Alexis Cerritos at the top of the formation. Outside of that, you don't want to tweak it around, even though they've got some great players coming back from injury on the bench, like Kalen Fox and Yannick Yankum. Meanwhile, for Union Omaha, a 3-4-3 formation with Steven Dos Santos making the way up top at the number 9 position. A couple more changes for them from their last match. 4 changes, Wallace Lapsley, Jerome, Rodriguez, and Napper are out. Meanwhile, Gomez, Akoff, Nuhu, and Milanese step in to the starting 11 for Dom Casciato's side. Let's see how they fare on the road once again. Here in Georgetown, Kentucky, to be precise, at Toyota Stadium. White kits for Union Omaha. Meanwhile, it'll be the black kits with the green stripe for Lexington. The away side going left to right. Meanwhile, the home side right to left. Our head official for this evening's match is Eric Pavone-Lizama. And we'll wait for his whistle to get this one started here and to kick off the Saturday in USL League One action. Had some excellent fun on Wednesday. Had another nail-biter yesterday on Friday. And now, got a couple more games coming your way, starting with this one. The whistle's blown, and we are off and running at Georgetown, Kentucky. It's Lexington and Omaha doing battle for the first time this year. First of 3 matches this evening. So we welcome in all of you League One fans, whether you're rooting for a team or you're a league fan with just a vested interest in how this matchup concludes. We welcome you in all one and the same. It's just the 3rd meeting between these two sides in the history of the matchups and head-to-head affairs. They played twice last season, both of which were comfortable victories for one of the two teams, both with one leg up over the other. The last meeting was in August of 2023, a game Omaha won 2-0 in front of their home fans at Warner Park. Meanwhile, it was a 3-0 victory for Lexington in their first ever meeting here. It was a victory for Lexington that, although was impressive, I think it may more notoriously be known as the last time Union Omaha was beat before they went on an absurd unbeaten streak after that fact. Dos Santos lays it off for Gomez, and that one will roll harmlessly wide. Let's take a look at our injury report brought to you by UK Healthcare. First off, you see still a whole list of names for Lexington. A couple of them back on the bench, not back at full health yet. Kalen Fox has been on the bench now for 2 games when you count this one. Meanwhile, Yankum finally making his return. Has 2 goals this season already for Darren Powell's side, so they'll love to have him back in the mixture of things on the offensive end, but not quite 100% yet. And also, you don't want to tweak too much with the starting lineup, a lineup that was able to go on the road and get 3 points in the Jägermeister Cup matchup against the top of the table Greenville Triumph. A 1-0 victory, game they scored in the first few minutes thanks to Ates Diop. Darren Powell said that we showed some character, some stubbornness, and resilience, scoring really early, which he felt was what resulted in the major possession disbalance that we saw throughout that affair. Greenville, for the rest of the match, were trying to find that equalizer. An offensive unit that's been proven dangerous throughout the year. But Lexington stood firm, got that clean sheet. A little too physical there from Liati. Meanwhile, a 4-2 win at home for Union Omaha not this past Thursday, but the Thursday prior to that. It was against the Chattanooga Red Wolves. It was an interesting game. They went up 2-0. Then Chattanooga, before halftime, was able to tie it up at 2 apiece. But then the Owls were able to retake the comfortable advantage and win 4-2 once everything was said and done. Tom Casciato, the head coach for the Owls, said that they created a lot of chances in that game and could have put a couple more away, honestly. I'm going to welcome you all in here as you start to trickle in to tune into the match, whether you are a Lexington fan who couldn't make it to the game, if you're a neutral observer watching, or if you're an Omaha fan, especially those Omaha fans at the Cross Strain Brewing Company for their watch party. I hope you're having a fantastic time, and make sure to tip well. Let's see what the Owls can conjure up here with some sustained possession. Kunga plays it out to his left. Here's Gallardo. Joe Gallardo working on Liu Young. Christian Liu Young able to boot that one away. Get it out of the immediate danger. It'll still be an Owls throw. (3-0 and 2-0 were the score lines between these two teams last year. We'll see if things get shaken up here in the series, whether one team stays off the score sheet or if that trend is bucked. Dos Santos. Back to Gallardo. So far this week in week 13, every single game has been a one-score affair. Here's a bending effort in the box, parried away. Emil Knight providing the denial there. And then a foul means that Lexington can take a breather and get a hold of the ball. Here's a look at the effort once again. Knight gets the first touch on it, and then the extra clearance more than did the trick. Been nearly 2 months since the last home game that Lexington have had. It was May 11th, a Jägermeister Cup matchup with Central Valley Fuego. Since then, they've had 5 straight games on the road. Darren Powell jokingly said, not sure how that happened schedule-wise, but they're super stoked to be back in front of the home crowd, be back in front of their people, their supporters, and that just after the game, you'll get to go home and sleep in your own bed. Don't have to worry about where you're flying or busing out the next day, or even that night sometimes, depending on travel arrangements. Kunga weaves to his left. Lagos Kunga. And it's a point to the spot. The challenge by Modesto Mendez. He's given the yellow card, but more importantly, it's an early opportunity for Omaha to get on the board. Lagos Kunga with the ball at his feet is always such a handful to deal with. And Modesto Mendez had to get that tackle right. Our head official deemed that was not the case. And now Pedro Dolabella looks to make it 5 of the last 6 games that he scored in. If he can put this one away, he's one-on-one with Emil Knight. Has 7 total goals in all competitions this season between the Jägermeister Cup and league play. The Brazilian winds up and he tucks it home. The Owls with the early lead. And Pedro Dolabella continues his hot streak of scoring.
The Union Omaha penalty kick in the 9th minute.
Here's a look at that challenge once again by Mendez. It's tough to make out from there exactly when he got contact on the ball, if he got contact on the ball at all. Either way, the penalty kick was awarded, and Dolabella now has his 5th goal of the season, in league play, that is. Lexington looking for the immediate response. Talking about Pedro Dolabella, Tom Casciato said his consistency is better this year than that of last season. He also talked about how he was hurt at the beginning of the year, so he didn't get to participate in the preseason. Now he's finally getting into form, Dolabella. And Tom Casciato said, I think he's about to get even better, if you ask me. His ability to play, switch the point of attack, has always impressed him and is vital to the way they build up offensively. He also had the nickname The Mayor in college when he played for Marshall. And although it doesn't seem that nickname has stuck around with his Omaha teammates, Tom Casciato did mention he does certainly act like he's the mayor sometimes. And maybe it's a deserved nickname with the command he's had over the pitch in recent weeks. So an excellent start to this one for Union Omaha, both scoreboard-wise, but also just in possession. And now they're gonna have to dare this Lexington team to come at them. Robertson, the hopeful ball up the pitch. Looking for either Brown or Leotti. Nico Brown, sandwich between 2 Omaha players. So Deanne Koff will toss this one in. The veteran man who's so dangerous along that right-hand side. See that 3-back system for Dominic Casciato with Milanese, Mastrotonio, and Malone. Anchoring it back there for his side now. Their mission to retain this lead for the rest of the match. So consistent output from Pedro Dolabella means Omaha's up 1-0, and it's that consistency from the team as a whole that impresses Darren Powell as he scouted out his opponent. He said over the years, just how consistent they've been is impressive. Slipping ball through, trying to find Dos Santos. Now Robertson needs to get that one out of there. They just find ways to win. It's going to be a big challenge, Darren Powell said about this Omaha team. Got some really quality players across the pitch, from Blake Malone in the back to PC and Dolabella in the middle to Steven Dos Santos up top, just to name a couple of the guys. A lot of respect for this opponent. And now they're gonna have to scrap back into this one. Akoff's cross, clipped by Robertson, but Emil Knight keeps it in play. Moments like that Omaha need to be vigilant. Don Casciato said of this Lexington team that they're dangerous, have a lot of dangerous attacking players, especially on the counter. They'll hurt you if you're not sharp. Dolabella tracks this one back to PC. Also gotten a lot better defensively. Coach Casciato mentioned about his opponents. Handball means that opportunity stops dead in its tracks for the visiting Owls. It'll be a tough matchup, and Don Casciato also mentioned that Lexington haven't been home in a while, so the fans will be out there too, bringing the energy. The players will be happy to be back on their home turf. Here's a chance for Lexington to demonstrate that counterattack. It's a lot of white jerseys around, though. And the contact there means a free kick for Lexington. Dion Akoff colliding with Liotti. The competition is heating up this summer on CBS. Sacramento Republic FC look for revenge against a red-hot Oakland Roots SC on Sunday, July 21st at 4 p.m. Eastern. And on August 3rd at 4 p.m., surging Detroit City FC hosts newcomer Rhode Island FC for the first time as the USL Summer of Soccer continues on the CBS network. Boy, did we have an awesome USL League One game to represent the league on Wednesday. We'll see the highlights at halftime as this one's cleared away. That being USL League One's debut on the CBS Sports Network. The difference early in this one, a penalty kick converted by Pedro Dolabella after the foul was drawn by Lagos Kunga. Mendez, the foulie on that penalty, heads it away. Kunga with a poor touch there, gives it away. So far, the possession has leaned heavily in favor of the Owls. At this point, standing at around 60%. Let's see if Lexington can hold the ball a little bit here. Get the Owls chasing, because as of right now, it's been all the home side doing the chasing and trying to keep up with this Union Omaha side. Both gameplay-wise and also now with the deficit. Knight floats this one forward, and Akoff dishes it away. Gallardo switches this one back, and now Lexington nearly had a moment to counterattack, but a good, apt touch by, I believe, Gallardo was able to stall what would have been 3 Lexington bodies rushing forward. Omaha doing so well, suffocating this Lexington side the moment they had possession. Not getting a moment to breathe once the ball is at their feet. It's exactly what Dom Casciato was urging his players to do going into the second half in that game against Chattanooga, where they were able to tie it up 2-2. The Owls really locked them down in the second 45 minutes, did not allow the kind of chances that they were letting slip through against Chattanooga, even before the Red Wolves were able to score any of their goals. They had some opportunities, and the game was 0-0, 1-0, 2-0, before they were even able to find the back of the net. And that adjustment from Dom Casciato was he wanted his side to apply more pressure. And pressure they have applied here in this one. Here's Steven Dos Santos! Picks the side netting and scores! Back to full health. And back to another score.
Union Omaha goal scored in the 21st minute by number 10, Steven
Dos Santos. They had been missing his presence up top. He's recovered from the injury. And how about that one? Rip your laces through it. Nearly parallel with the goal line. He just rips that one towards the side netting. It just needed to veer a smidge to stay behind that post. And the Owls have taken a firm lead and grip on this one. So as of right now, it appears the pattern of this series is going to continue. Just 2 matches between these two sides, both of them comfortable victories from one side or the other. The Owls looking to be the ones to continue that trend in their favor. They have certainly looked the part for these first 20 or so minutes. Can Lexington find a response? The offside flag goes up, denying Christian Louis-Young the ball. But it was a 2-0 lead that Omaha had in the first half in their last game against Chattanooga, so it wouldn't be the first time if they conceded a couple after that. Of course, the difference between then and now is that they have that prior experience to take away from, not get complacent. Here's a takeaway. Azad Liati cuts to his right. Liati shoots. It's denied. First real chance for Lexington this game. Caputo is swarmed, and he loses the ball. Can't get too lackadaisical with the ball at your feet, especially along that back line. To this point, the Owls have been good, making sure Lexington don't have any chances, but it was a slip-up that led to that opportunity. So you gotta stay sharp. Malone floats this one forward. Steven Dos Santos gets bested by Akon at the last moment. It's a very different challenge this Lexington team has this go around versus their last game. The mission last game was to hang on to that 1-0 lead for practically the entirety of the match. An early goal like that makes the opposition chase the game. That's what Darren Powell was telling me about that match against Greenville. We were hoping to expose that, try to slip behind them, but didn't do well enough in that department. Omaha able to not only get that early goal, but really swing momentum in their favor by getting that second. Makes it that much tougher to find an answer and response. And if they continue to play the way they've been playing today off the ball, it's going to be awfully hard for the home side to find any opportunities. Just haven't had a moment to think. We have to be more aggressive after the first line of pressure and in key moments defensively. That's what Dom Casciato said about his side on the defensive end of things. It was 2 moments when they didn't do that Chattanooga were able to score. Brown to Lou Young, and Liotti goes down in the box. That says nothing of it. Perhaps a bit of theatrics from Azad Liotti. Minutes in. 9th minute goal from number 9, Pedro Dolabella. And a goal in the 20th minute for Steven Dos Santos to get his 2nd goal in league play, his 5th goal total. Here's Atez Diouf. And that may end up being the first booking for an Owl this evening, as Blake Malone will make his way over to the head official. Catching a swipe on Atez Diouf.
Union Omaha, yellow card, assist to number 3.
That'll be Blake Malone's 2nd yellow card of the season. Lexington, good distance away from goal. See what they can cook up here. Here's the ball in, headed centrally by Akon. Nuhu gets it headed above his arms, and then he collects it. And some extra contact from CC Uche. Will mean a foul on the center back. Nuhu back up on his feet. The eternal presence between the sticks for Union Omaha, Rashid Nuhu. Been there from the start, and for good reason. He has stuck around. So many impressive years with the Owls. This is his 5th season, alongside, of course, the club's 5th season. We got another foul here, and some bickering occurring between Isaac Cano and Steven Dos Santos. So let's see what our head official ends up deciding to do here. Eric Pavon Lizama is the head man. That appears to be the end of things. Apologies for that. We welcome you back into Toyota Stadium in Georgetown, Kentucky. Still 2-0 here between Union Omaha and Lexington Sporting Club. Still a goal from some usual suspects, Pedro Dolabella and Steven Dos Santos. Mastrantonio rolls that one forward, but it falls to Diouf. Mendez. We'll drag that one all the way back to his keeper, Amel Knight. And a couple of swipes there. A little tanglement between Kunga and Akon will mean a free kick for Lexington that they quickly take. Advantage is played. Nico Brown slowly gets up. Takeoff. Doesn't quite keep it in play. Tune into ESPN2 for a USL Summer of Soccer showdown between Championship Eastern Conference rivals, Pittsburgh Riverhounds SC and Hartford Athletic, as they battle to stay in the race for playoff contention. Saturday, July 20th at 7 p.m. Eastern. That one going off of Lexington's number 9, Azad Liati. 30 minutes through. It's been all Omaha thus far. This one will roll around the back for the Owls. Don't need to force anything now, up 2-0. You not only have the lead, but you have the cushion on top of it. They have an opportunity to go forward now, though. Gallardo gets it knocked away by Christian Luyang. Now Nico Brown running down the right-hand side. He's looking to draw the foul. He won't get it. It's back line for Lexington. Having a couple players that haven't quite gotten a ton of minutes yet this season. Once again, though, they were able to impress in that last game against Greenville. Composed right now of Modesto Mendez, who has been playing more this year, Cici Uche and Ebenezer Akon, and then you want to add in Christian Luyang and Tate Robertson as those wing backs to finish out that back line. We highlighted Mendez before the game started. His 4th year playing for Darren Powell. And that one other year since 2020, Darren Powell was the coach of the first team while Akon was on Inter Miami 2. Not Akon, excuse me. Modesto Mendez was on Inter Miami 2. Which all League One fans will know formerly as Fort Lauderdale CF. Here's a slipping ball through. Steven Dos Santos. Dos Santos can't get the chip off. Amel Knight able to get his hands on it. It wasn't quite high enough from the veteran. Tried to get the pop over the goalkeeper, Amel Knight. Oh no, it's a careless giveaway. Steven Dos Santos has two. Brutal for the home side. Opportunistic for the Owls. Steven Dos Santos just has to pass it into the back of the net. It's a loose touch from Amel Knight.
By number 10, Steven Dos Santos.
And our own Gomez in the right spot. Easy pickings for him. And you know, if you've got that number 10 anywhere near the goal, dish it off to him, and he'll take care of business. And it's now his 6th goal across all competitions this year for Steven Dos Santos. Diouf trying to wind around. He draws the foul. It'll be a free kick. Pedro Dolabella pleading his case, but the decision's been made. So let's see if Lexington can find a moment of positivity here in this first 45. It has been rough sledding for them thus far. The Owls have been oppressive offensively, and they have swarmed them on the defensive end of things. Tate Robertson whips one in, headed down. Mendez shoots, deflected away. Liu Young drifts out wide, and he can't get by the first man. And Joe Gallardo gets tugged at the jersey by Liu Young. And Omaha escaped that one without having Rashid Nuhu to step in and make a play. And this is exactly how Dom Casciato wants his team to play. He says, we want to dominate with and without the ball wherever we go. And that was in lead up to when I asked him about what are some of the things you look forward to when you go on the road. There's a lot of talk about the challenges and the struggles of being a road team. Wanted to see exactly what his thought process about the things he gets excited about in these situations, and he said, it's an opportunity to show what you can do in front of a new group of people. If we can impress some new fans, get some points, that's always great. He also mentioned the positive of getting a chance to sleep a couple extra hours, having a 3-month-old son right now, so not having to be disturbed in the middle of the night is always great, but shout out the extra tasks of being a new parent. Well, if you want to know how far this is from goal, just look at the yard marker and add 10 more yards. Free kick for Omaha. Here's the effort on goal. It's off the crossbar. And it falls back down and in. From the sky to the back of the net. It is a flying first half for the Owls. How about that goal from Omaha? A ripping shot off the crossbar. It's still in play. And Marco Milanese is able to get a touch on it. The Italian with his first goal of the season. That's definitely going to be one of the more interesting goals you're going to see this weekend in USL League One. That's why you always keep your eye on the ball. And you keep playing till you hear a whistle. Usually when you see a shot ding off the crossbar like that, it either goes flying away to the top of the 18 or outside of the penalty area, or it's going to curl out of bounds. But that one sinking right in front of the face of goal, as this is a dangerous moment here. The Owls able to avoid the immediate danger, and now they could go in the other direction. Here's Kunga. Lagos Kunga pops it over to Akoff, but Akon gets there. This one will go out for a corner kick. Can't believe it. This is our first corner kick we've had this entire match. So here we go. PC with the service. Punched away by Amel Knight. Now Kunga sends it back inside, knocked outward. The pressure continues for Omaha. They have been relentless. Well kept in play, Gallardo. And his cross will go out for a goal kick. Select the official match ball supplier of the USL League One and many elite leagues throughout Europe. Visit us.select-sport.com for the latest Select products, specials, and more. Select, the player's choice. Akoff. Putting this one forward for Dolabella, headed away. No let up from the visitors. Started with a penalty. And it has just continued to snowball downhill for Union Omaha. Making their margin bigger and bigger. Gallardo will tap this one backward. Nuhu. Over to his right. Milanese will play it forward, and the Owls, anything they've wanted to accomplish in this game thus far, they've been able to make it happen. Kunga tripped by Azad Liadia as he wrapped around the striker. was around this time last year that the Owls went into that remarkable run of form. As I mentioned at the beginning of this game, it started with a July 22nd clash with Lexington, a game they lost 3-0. A humbling experience then, but an experience they wouldn't feel for the rest of the regular season en route to a Players' Shield. And if they can recreate a run like that again, I mean, you don't need it to me to tell you that that would be very good. Already got a couple games in hand as they chase the Greenville Triumph and forward Madison. The Mingos being bested on Wednesday for the first time in league play against the Richmond Kickers. If you did not catch the highlights from that one, stick around for halftime. We'll got you covered on those. They had two absolutely stunning games on Wednesday. We got 2 more minutes to go in this one. The first half that Union Omaha is never going to want to end. Robertson pops this one in, head towards goal, booted upward. Now the Owls sprinting in the other direction. Robertson gets there first. But much like the way much of this first half has been, the moment Lexington gets the ball, the Owls are on top of them. Ates Diouf demonstrating some of his physicality. Robertson throwing in a hip, getting between Akoff and the ball. Akoff slow to get up after that one. Barring a crazy script change in the second half from Lexington, Omaha's next mission in this game will definitely be to avoid precarious situations. Finally getting back to good health. Dolabella pops this one inside. Dos Santos got one touch on it, but then backup was there for Lexington. One more opportunity in this one. Kunga taking his time. And that is how this first half will conclude. Omaha flying high with 4 goals on the road. A truly dominant performance in the first 45 for Dom Casciato's side. Enormously impressive from the Owls. With that, we will step aside for a moment. When we come back, we'll visit the highlights from last weekend, along with some of the highlights from the middle of the week. We'll see you then on ESPN+.
Lexington is the Kentuckiest place in the world. Just look at it. It's by far the bluegrassiest, the bourbonist. See? The artsiest, and hands down, the horsiest. Oh, look, that one has a baby. I don't know why you would look anywhere else. Looking for the coolest, most Kentuckiest getaway? Look at Lexington.
Girls like you aren't runners, they said. Well, I wasn't.
Let's go ahead and get some pictures of that knee, okay?
6 months, down the drain. Give up
Keep the rhythm going.
or get up?
Perfect.
Who's not a runner now?
Good, we're gonna take it
You
up.
don't have to be an elite athlete to be treated like one. UK Healthcare, Orthopedic Surgery, and Sports Medicine. The power of advanced medicine.
play as Lee plays it out to the left-hand side. Here's a shot and a goal. And look who it is, Liam McKinnon. Bags another to his name. Perimeter of the 18. Sends it centrally. Lee with the volley! And Evan Lee doubles the advantage. Greenville up 2-0 against Charlotte.
Between the sticks, Cheney. No nonsense, puts that one away. It's Madison 1, Omaha 0. To try and keep things going today, it's Cheney. Pokes this one through, he already has one. Christian Cheney to try and seal the result, laid off to Prentice, and that'll do it. In the 95th minute, Wolfgang Prentice cleans it up, and the 3 points head the way of forward back.
But now, Greenville trying to go into the area. Castro scores! McKinnon to Castro gets Greenville to open the scoring. And that positions your expert in primary care in East Tennessee. As that one comes in for a second goal for Greenville, and they've doubled up on their lead. It's Liam McKinnon. He buries it to
Rendon with a couple stepovers on his left and scores! The man in red-hot form, Bruno Rendon, with yet another strike. And it's 1-0 Colorado. Still Ethan Horde. Never laid the ball off, and that's why! Ethan Horde's tenacity rewarded with a thunderbolt. Northern Colorado get a second.
Lukic on the overload, cuts it back to Malongo. Malongo in space! Mayo Malongo strikes again for Chattanooga. 6 goals in as many matches. Now looking towards Sebastian Vivas. It's loose. Vivas pokes it home, and there's no whistle from the referee. They are confident he can be a key piece. This is an arcing ball. It's in, and it's headed home. To Coutinho. Looking for Roberts. Oh, that's astonishing. Jamil Roberts with a stunner. Well, Papa Mensah charging through, finds Marsh, and he finishes. Chattanooga may have snatched the points.
Diouf plays it ahead for Nico Brown. Brown, his shot is off the underside of the crossbar. Lexington strikes first on the road and lead 1-0. Turn it in. Akale weaving through, getting to the end line. He puts it in front. It's turned home. Josh Dowling on the doorstep equalizes for Spokane Velocity. 1-1.
New flavors, the same traditions. Be the guest of honor. Add more flavor to your parties. El Jimador, spiked bebidas.
Shaw's in front of him, takes a deflection. Here comes Sacramento right back at Trevor Abbott.
We all have goals. But let's be honest. Most of us aren't going to be professional athletes. But if your goal is to finish your degree, we can help. Come to a university that puts your goals first. Bellevue University, your partner in finishing goals.
They're hungry for the women's game. They want to see women's soccer. They want to play women's soccer, and that's what we're building at the USL.
You can see it in my eyes, only want the best. You grinding every night, won't settle for less. Got me looking to the sky, got me feeling blessed. Got this fire burning up inside of my chest. Burning up inside of my chest. Got this fire burning up inside of my chest. Hear that? I said it. Better rap. I said it. Run when you hear that. Run when you hear that. Better rap. I said it. Run when you hear that. Run when you hear that. Run when you hear that. Run when you hear that.
As we welcome you back here for more halftime content, the USL Summer of Soccer continues on Wednesday, July 17th, along with an excellent slate of games for the USL Championship across ESPN2, CBS, the CBS Sports Network. A lot of fun games coming up, but USL League One got their debut in the USL Summer of Soccer on the CBS Sports Network on Wednesday with the Richmond Kickers and Forward Madison clashing in the Henny Derby, which is a great representation of what this league can have in store. And it started off with Emiliano Terazaghi because, of course it did. The King back on the score sheet for the Richmond Kickers. He's been hurt this season. He's back to health. And now he's scoring goals again for Richmond, as he's done for years in USL League One. Then in the 90th minute, another guy who knows how to score goals in the league, Juan Galindrez, to tie things up. But it was not over, even though a 1-1 draw would be an exciting way for things to close in the Henny Derby on national TV. It's a 101st minute winner for Chandler O'Dwyer to make it 2-1 for the Kickers. And that's not the first time, or the last time, excuse me, you're gonna hear the 101st minute uttered in these highlights, because not only was this game great, and not only did this game represent the league well, we also had a game later that night that was also insane. Starting with this goal for Central Valley Fuego on the road against Northern Colorado. Some pinball in the box into the back of the net. 30 minutes into the game, Central Valley Fuego have the lead. And then they would double it with Siobhan John Brown near the 70th minute to make it 2-0. And you think, all right, looks like Central Valley are going to get a win on the road. Jake Keegan has other thoughts in mind. What a banger in the 88th minute. But it is not done yet. Because guess what? In the 101st minute, Real Gil blasts this one off the crossbar and in to tie it up 2-2 in just a stunner, as both teams share a point apiece between the Hailstorm and Central Valley Fuego. Well, that was a lot of fun. We've had a lot of chaos in this one in particular. 4-0 your scoreline. When we come back, the second half will be on the docket on ESPN+. We'll see you then.
Lexington is the Kentuckiest place in the world. Just look at it. It's by far the bluegrassiest, the bourbonist. See? The artsiest, and hands down, the horsiest. Oh, look, that one has a baby. I don't know why you would look anywhere else. Looking for the coolest, most Kentuckiest getaway? Look at Lexington.
Girls like you aren't runners, they said. Well, I wasn't.
Let's go ahead and get some pictures of that knee, okay?
6 months, down the drain. Give up?
Keep the rhythm going.
Or get up?
Perfect.
Who's not a runner now?
Good, we're gonna take it
You
up.
don't have to be an elite athlete to be treated like one. UK Healthcare, Orthopedic Surgery, and Sports Medicine, the power of advanced medicine.
you back here to Toyota Stadium in Georgetown, Kentucky. It is a 4-0 lead. You've read that scoreline right, in favor of Union Omaha over Lexington. Mark Schoenster here with you on ESPN Plus as we get into the highlights. First off, Pedro Dolabella tucking this one home nicely to open up the scoring. 1-0 in favor of the Owls. Getting the job done. Then Steven Dos Santos, with some help from Lagos Kunga, getting his second assist in league play this season. How about this angle from Steven Dos Santos, smashing it into the side netting, hops the board, does a nice celebration, and then he wouldn't have as tough an angle on this one. Poor touch from Male Knight, and then Aaron Gomez squares it to Duba, and Steven Dos Santos has dos goals in this affair. 3-0 your scoreline then. But there is still one more goal in the wackiest of the goals thus far. A ripping goal off the crossbar, or a ripping shot off the crossbar from Gallardo. It ended up going down as an own goal off the head of Caputo. And after getting that little slow-mo, that's definitely the case. Caputo getting the own goal. Milanese celebrates it, but that is how it will go down in the stat sheet. And you can look at the numbers. This just goes to show you how dominant it was for Union Omaha in the first 45 minutes. Just an absolute throttling. After 45 minutes here, we'll see how things look in the second half of action between these two sides. But so far, so good for the visitors. As far as yellow cards are concerned, Modesto Mendez and Cici Uche for Lexington. Meanwhile, Blake Malone with a yellow card for Omaha. There will be 2 substitutions for Lexington. First off, Jorge Corrales steps in after serving his red card suspension last game for Ebenezer Akon. As the whistle blows and we get back into the fray of things here on ESPN Plus. Our other substitution, Isaac Cano out, Jaden Onan in. Both of these changes for Lexington Sporting Club. Darren Powell, to see what he can do to change things up here. As of right now, it's a first half to forget for Lexington. We welcome you in on this broadcast. If you're just trying to get on and maybe did a double take at the scoreline, we welcome you in. It was very impressive from Dom Casciato's side. Had a couple of things bounce their way as well, but the fact of the matter is, even if you take away a lucky bounce off the crossbar or a really rough mishap from Male Knight, it would still be 2-0. And the fact of the matter is they've had all the dominance and control over this game, whether they are able to put those away or not. And hey, soccer's a game of opportunities and taking advantage of said opportunities, and Omaha's done just that. Now Robertson seeing if he can create a chance for his side. Tate Robertson goes down. It'll be a free kick for Darren Powell's side here.
Jorge Corrales replaces number 3, Ebenezer Akon.
So it's Corrales and Robertson by the dead ball. You would anticipate that number 2 is going to be the one who makes the contact here, unless they want Corrales to tap it into a different spot for Robertson, but Tate Robertson always been a set-piece specialist. So he'll scheme with the veteran Corrales. A chance to put this game into a different perspective here with a good set piece. It's Robertson. And it's headed outward. Now a whistle blows and another body falls down after the fact. Mentioned it in the first half, and I'll mention it again. It's been nearly 2 months since the last home game for Lexington. They're happy to get back in front of their home fans, but certainly this was not what they had in mind when they got back in front of their home crowd. Under first-year head coach Darren Powell, not his first year coaching USL League One, but his first with Lexington. Now a couple months since he's made his way to Kentucky, Darren Powell. He's found a couple of restaurants he likes, gone on a couple of hikes, and he's talked about how good the community, how friendly the community has been since he's gotten there. But as far as him exploring this city and getting used to it all, it's been limited. And if you want to know why, it's because he's been locked in on building the roster, and then once the season started, then you're just all goes, focused on the team, focused on the next step. So he hasn't had a lot of time to soak in Lexington, but the bits that he has, he's very much appreciated and enjoyed. Give away to Diouf. Ates Diouf. Steps left. Diouf still going with it. And they're going to play advantage. And then once the advantage was done, it's a free kick for Lexington. Another spot for Tate Robertson to figure something out. This is an area where he could potentially put this on goal. He sniped in a couple of free kicks last year. It's going to take a lot to best Rashid Nuhu. Tate Robertson. Still looking for his first goal contribution this year. Had 8 assists last season and a couple goals too. It's him and Ates Diouf. Robertson strikes it. And too much air under that one. Two set-piece opportunities, not able to make too much of it, Lexington. It's just been one of those evenings thus far for the home side. Meanwhile, for the Owls, you just saw the highlights. A goal from Dolabella, a brace from Steven Dos Santos, and then an own goal to cap it off near the end of the first half. Dos Santos been working back to full health, getting the brace this evening. Dom Casciato said that he's close to 100%, played 60 to 70 minutes in that game against Chattanooga last time out. He's approaching full fitness, which is huge for his side. And when he can pull off goals like that first one he scored today, that is a dangerous prospect for the rest of the league. Smashing that one at a tight angle. The second goal, not as impressive from him. They all count the same, though. Malone tried to take that one forward. Deflects off his boot and out. So that ball slipping out of the hands of Lexington, and it was not a legal throw-in. So it's given to Omaha. Bit of an odd situation there. Certainly was not the intent for the ball to be let go in that moment, but mistakes happen. Offside flag goes up, and means Lexington will get possession here. It's the third meeting all time between these two sides. 3-0 Lexington, their last meeting here, and then they'd meet later in the year last season to the tune of a 2-0 Omaha victory. As far as this matchup is concerned, the next game will be October in League One play. So no meetings in Jägermeister Cup competitions between these two sides unless they both make it to the playoffs and meet each other there. Nico Brown sends that one across goal and out of bounds. Looks like that might have hit one of the photographers. At least it came awfully close. That may be a way, though, for these two teams to meet again. Lexington doing very well in the Jägermeister Cup group. Omaha still in the thick of it themselves. Dos Santos cuts to his left, squares it across. Gomez has to retreat. Steven Dos Santos with both his hands in the air. Was hoping to get the ball back. Gallardo with the cross. Dos Santos tried to get on the end of it. He's on a hat trick if he could find the back of the net. Gallardo. That service denied by Robertson. Been a busy man so far here in the second half. Now Nico Brown. It's been better from Lexington here in the first 10 minutes. They're also not feeling that sustained pressure from the Owls the way they were in the first half of action. Bella sends it forward for Kunga. He's got room to operate. Lagos Kunga. Finds Dos Santos, Steven Dos Santos. That's a good challenge. Sliding in is Cici Uche. It was a similar situation that led to the penalty that got the scoring started for Omaha in the first half, but Uche made sure he did well there. And the vet, Steven Dos Santos, slow to get up. He's back up on his feet. It's a throw in for Dion Akoff. I'll throw it up top for Malone. Nico Brown. A little grab there from Akoff, but ref says play on. Akoff goes down, and there's the whistle. And I think Nico Brown's now about to talk about the seatbelt that Dion Akoff gave him earlier in that run. Malone also appears to be displaying some evidence of foul play that he wanted a whistle to be blown on. One way or another. We're back into the action here. Mendez knocks that one out for a throw-in. Can't watch the match? Turn on Sirius XM FC 157, North America's only 24/7 source for engaging soccer talk, including USL All Access Tuesdays at 8 p.m. Eastern. Plus, hear live matches from the USL, MLS, Premier League, and more. All on Sirius XM FC 157 and the new Sirius XM app. Akoff does well to chest that ball down. Dolabella goes to ground. Nothing there for it. There's Jaden Onan. Ball falls back to him before he distributes it to Diouf. Artes Diouf working down the middle. And that pass just behind Azad Liati. Getting the ball back to Union Omaha. It was a tough win against Greenville last weekend for Lexington, a win that can galvanize a group. Darren Powell wanted his side to take that character and energy and carry it into this next game. Haven't won back-to-back games yet this season. Looking back throughout the records, they've only done it once in the history of the franchise. Trying to build off of a positive result. This is definitely not the direction they wanted to go after that tough road win against the top of the table triumph. And now a yellow card is issued to Liati, and maybe not the kindest of words being exchanged here.
Union Omaha, yellow card, assessed to number 9, Pedro Dolabella.
Actually, it looks like the yellow card given to Dolabella. Maybe both the number 9s going in the book here. Lu Young. Take this one back to Mendez. Tate Robertson taken down once again, this time by Marco Milanese. Another free kick incoming for Lexington. So we're 2/3 of the way through this affair. It's been a brighter second half for Lexington, but the fact of the matter is Union Omaha were everywhere in that first half and have the 4-0 lead. Here comes another substitution for Darren Powell. Alexis Cerritos stepping in. That is where Tate Robertson will see his night conclude. Cerritos, the one change in the starting lineup between this game and the game against Greenville. There's Abel Caputo. Lexington enjoying a lot more possession. Seems like Omaha have opted to not be as ferocious in their pressure. Of course, it is an exhausting task to continually chase after players on the ball. Onan taps it out wide to Cerritos. Lu Young trying to get Diouf running. It's going to be a tough ball to deliver. Now Dos Santos has it. Gomez still pursuing. And it's Uche who comes in. Blake Warren with a lot of time to think about where he wants to go with this ball, and he opts to drag it back. Once again, when you're up 4-0, you don't have to force anything. You've got such an advantage, you're just trying to walk this one to the finish line. That's a bad giveaway. Liotti to Cerritos. Cerritos to the left-hand side for Brown! And Lexington are on the board. The ball's given away, and Lexington are clinical with it. Nico Brown with his second goal in league play. Cerritos puts this one on a plate, and Nico Brown has all of it. His 2 goals on the season matches his tally from last year. For correction, it was 2 goals in his 2022 season with Greenville. He had 8 goals last season. So still has some scoring to do to catch up to that tally. So 1 back for Lexington. We're rewarding themselves for some of the positives they've been able to display here in the second half. And now they'll be looking to not only find some positives to carry into the rest of this game, but to come out of this game with after what was a devastating first 45. And perhaps they could take advantage of the Owls being comfortable in this one. But also a goal like that can snap a team back into place, because that was one of the only other things that Union Omaha had to really attain for and strive for in this game, is keeping that clean sheet, as Nuhu has to get that one away. Diouf slides it in. Caputo has to chase this one. It's just too far ahead of him. He had the space. But the efforts here from Lexington, getting the fans something to cheer about. Before action can resume, we've got a substitution. The first for Dom Casciato. Mishak Jerome will step in, and Marco Milanese will come out. It was a moment where it looked like Milanese got his first goal of the season, but ends up going down in the books as an own goal. But he was there to apply the pressure and make Abel Caputo try something to prevent the goal. Check Jerome, the usual starter, coming off the bench this go-around. And now Dion Akoff will throw this one in. Akoff, a player that I talked to Dom Casciato about last year, said he's a great player, has great pace and technical ability, which is not always a combination you see all the time in USL League One, because those kinds of players end up going up to championship real quick. But he's got both of them. And boys, he demonstrated it. The question for Omaha has been, how do we get the best out of Dion Akoff? He could be such a playmaker. And he's got such an engine, too, over on that right-hand side. USL League One is on CBS Sports and ESPN platforms all season long. Catch live matches and expert analysis every day on the CBS Sports Golazo Network and ESPN+. Go to USLLeague1.com for the complete USL TV listings. Alexis Cerritos finding Nico Brown on that goal here in the second half. Cerritos' first assist of the season. Once again, as far as the sisters are concerned, Aron Gomez and Lagos Kunga also getting those this evening. So 3 assists out of the 5 goals, the other which being an own goal and a penalty kick. Here's Akoff, wheeling around Brown. Kunga. Good challenge from Onan. And Lexington with possession once again. Mentioned a couple times about Darren Powell's time as the coach of Fort Lauderdale CF and USL League One. Of course, then they left to go to MLS Next Pro, and then he stepped up into Inter Miami and is now back in the league a couple years later. And I asked him how much the league has changed in that time span, this league, of course. And he said the style has changed due to the makeup of players. So it's full of experienced, savvy pros, whereas years ago, you still had some of those young teams with younger players. You could see games go from 1-0 to 3-0 real quick with those players with young teams because focus can get lost. That's not the case when you've got seasoned players on the pitch. Diouf. Taps up to Brown. Nico Brown loses his footing. Looked promising for a moment there for Lexington. Now Omaha will go the other way. It's Dion Akoff and Jorge Corrales, 2 veterans, one-on-one with each other. Akoff plays it inside. No one to get on the end of that one. Those are the kind of players like Corrales, like Akoff, that are more and more frequently finding themselves here in USL League One. Teams will come back and score late goals in this league now. That's what Darren Powell was saying about the way things are in USL League One in 2024. It stays competitive all the way through. Nico Brown back up on his feet after going down. And a chance for some players to get hydrated here in Georgetown, just outside of Lexington. That final window of a game is crucial. You need to stay locked in and make the right subs. That was where Darren Powell ended his thoughts on how the league has changed in the time he left. All the way about 79 degrees in Georgetown at the moment. Feels around 81. So not a blistering hot summer day. And now we're gonna see Yannick Jankum make his return. Been out for a while. And they'll welcome him into the fray of things once again. Liati is out, Jankum is in. Also spent some time playing with his national team in Malta. Jankum was one of those guys who got the scoring going early this season for Lexington. You give me another guy that could help them spark a run going forward. Cerritos. Pairing it to Jankum. Youngcom will take it himself. Saved by Nuhu. This gets his laces on the ball, maybe his first ever touch since getting out of the pitch. And it will be a corner kick for Lexington. This corner kick brought to you by UK Healthcare. It's their first corner kick of the evening. We haven't had a ton of them. Corrales will play this one in. And it's knocked away by Nuhu once again. A bit precarious. So another UK Healthcare corner kick from the left flag this time. Into Jaden Onan, who will do the honors. Onan's servant comes in, and this one grappled by Rashid Nuhu. Gallardo showing his moves along the touchline. Gomez with it. So as we approach 75 minutes through this one, 4 goals in the first half for Union Omaha. Gave them the more than comfortable advantage. 1 goal back for Lexington in the second. All right, now it's fixing up to be an impressive showcase from the Owls on the road. Doing all the business they needed in the first 45 minutes. Just see this one through to its conclusion. Barring a flurry from Lexington in these final 15 minutes. PC's ball. Too high for Steven Dos Santos. He's got a brace already. Steven Dos Santos, that is. Let's see what the Owls can do here. Akoff. Tried to split the defenders. Caught Jorge Corrales, but ref says it's fair game. Nico Brown pushing in the other direction. Has that one knocked away by Mishak Jerome. It's a Lexington throw. And 2 Union Omaha substitutions incoming.
Substitutions.
Brandon Knapp stepping in for Lagos Kunga. And then the dangerous man, Misael Rodriguez, will step in for Aaron Gomez.
Replaces 21 Aaron Gomez.
And how about that? To score 4 goals without your leading goal scorer, or you're tied for a leading goal scorer coming into the day in combined competitions with Misael Rodriguez. It was him, and it was him in the lead coming into the day with 7 total. Pedro Dolabella now has 8 with his 5 in league play and 3 in league play. So both had 7 coming in to get that all tidied up correctly for you. Rodriguez, one of the primary goal scorers on this team, not even a part of those 4 goals scored for Omaha. Just goes to show you how effective this team is on the offensive end right now. I would not want to be playing Omaha if I'm the rest of League One at this very moment. And right now, Lexington are falling victim to this red-hot offense the Owls have got. And they'll be going to Greenville in their next game as this one bounces in. Knight falls on top of it. eFootball 2024 is here. Live your dream, rep your team, and play as your favorite USL Championship club. eFootball is free to play. Download now. Rodriguez How's this one fall to Dos Santos? He tried to backheel it back to Rodriguez. Gallardo sends it inside. Dos Santos. Whistle blows. And now the head official having a word with, it appears to be the coaching staff for the Owls. Either that or the bench. It looks like the bench is the conclusion. Eric Pavon-Lizama, our head official. Trying to keep the peace here. So here are your goal tallies in the last 5 games, including this one for Union Omaha. 5 goals, 4 goals, 0 goals, 4 goals, 4 goals. So that 1-0 goal is obviously the outlier, a 2-0 loss on the road against Madison. But outside of that, scoring at least 4 goals in 4 of their last 5 games. Gallardo lobbing this one in. Emil Knight stretches up for it. About 10 more minutes to go in this one. The Owls looking at back-to-back victories, not only in this series, but on the season here. As they continue this 3-game road stretch, most of July being spent on the road for the Owls. I already mentioned that road trip to Greenville. Then they go to Northern Colorado before they close out the month with a home game against Chattanooga once again. Some pressure from the fresh legs of Union Omaha, something we were seeing a lot of in that first half. This one sliding through for Dolabella. Gallardo playing it forward for Rodriguez. This one deflects upward between him and Modesto Mendez. Akoff brought it down, but using his arm. So you see some players across the league, maybe some of the guys who have hopped around from one team to another in USL League One, and it got me thinking about just how many players are these teams likewise competing for when they're constructing their rosters. Tom Cascietta said there's a good amount of players that all the teams are fighting for, and then you have a smaller percentage that you yourself are able to discover, whether it be through your connections or an assistant coach's connection that you bring in, and you weren't vying for a contract with other League One teams. Which means whenever you're preparing to play a roster, play an opponent for the first time this season, like in this game, Gallardo takes the shot. This one a glide over the crossbar and hit the left post of the field goal. So when you prepare for a game against a new team, a lot of the new roster additions, you as a coach, as a unit scouting out, are going to be familiar with a lot of those players. But there will be a couple that maybe are unfamiliar and need to get acquainted with. As we get another substitution for Lexington, Nico Brown, the goal scorer, will make his way off the pitch in favor of Pierre Manet. The Senegalese midfielder getting in some minutes here at the end of the match. Some pressure here from the Owls, causing some duress for Modesto Mendez. And at the end of the day, a throw-in for Union Omaha. Rodriguez loses the ball, giving a goal kick, excuse me. Well, actually, no, now they're going to say it came off of Caputo. For a moment, it looked like it would be a goal kick, but then the decision being switched. Gallardo sending this one in, headed upward. And out for another corner, this time from the right flag. Good step there. Ball gets floated in. Meshach Jerome gets on it. Not a lot of venom on that header. A male knight right into his breadbasket. There's Joe Gallardo once again. This ball sent forward for Knapp. Brandon Knapp gets it back to Rodriguez. One substitute connecting with another. Misael Rodriguez tries the bending shot, but only goes a few moments away from his feet before it's deflected. Two more substitutions readying their way for Dom Casciato's side. And they will come through now. First off, Steven Dos Santos will see his night come to an end. No hat trick for him. Instead, it'll be Norte Norti to shore things up. In the midfield for Dom Casciato. Meanwhile, it's a USL League One debut in Owls colors for Isaac Bawa. Made his Jägermeister Cup debut last game against Chattanooga. Was acquired June 19th by the Owls. He's getting up to speed in the style of play and the way they do things.
And number 77, Isaac Bawa.
The Ghanaian right back.
Replaces number 26, Dion Akoff.
Gallardo getting knocked over by Christine Liu Young there. Right in the midfield marker, and he is still on the ground. Gallardo, a player in his second year with the Owls, was so good in the voyage year, the first season of USL League One, playing for the Richmond Kickers. And he left the league and came back last season and has been quite a playmaker for this Union Omaha team. Right now getting stretched by his teammate PC. So after waiting so long for a home game, not how Lexington wanted things to go in this one, but they will have the chance to make it right at home once again. Their next matchup, they play Tormenta. As we start thinking about what's ahead for these two teams, I already mentioned Omaha on the road for the majority of the month. Got two tough road trips coming up. First off, the Greenville Triumph, top of the table. And then they go on the road and look for some payback against the Hailstorm, a team that bested Omaha last time they met. And of course, that was a game that got a little wild with a red card right before the half. PC swings this one in, headed outward by Yanka. Newhill send this one up the pitch once again. And now Lexington with a chance to break forward, but couldn't execute on it. Newhill with a light pass to Mishak Jerome. And we have got 6 more minutes to go in this one.
Ladies and gentlemen, the officials on the field have determined that there will be 6 minutes of stoppage time.
Omaha been able to pretty much coast to this victory ever since their first half performance concluded. 4 goals in 45 minutes meant that they did not need to stress too much about how this one was going to end unless Lexington came out and really rattled them. They're able to get one back. Norty to Rodriguez. He goes down. Ref says play on. Now Bawa swings in the cross. Nearly connects with Dolabella, but he did barrel through the defender to try to make contact. Pedro Dolabella now with 5 goals in his last 6 appearances. Continues his good scoring form. And although it appears the name the Mayor has not translated over to his professional career, I have seen the mention of the name Golabella a couple times on social media, which I think he's definitely earned at this point. Also, who doesn't love a good pun? The answer to that question is a lot of people, but I'm not one of them. Lou Young playing it forward for Cerritos. Mastrantonio gets a touch on it first. Now Nuhu trying to dribble by one defender. It's not a clean disposal. Now Cerritos takes the shot and it skips wide. It took a deflection, which means it will be a corner kick. Cerritos tried to get that one out. At least gets a set piece as a compensation for it, a UK Healthcare corner kick. Diouf chips it to his right. Diouf still with it, and that one rips off of Dolabella. And it rolls out, not for a corner, but a deep throw in. 3 of the 6 minutes have transpired here as this one is winding to a close. Corrales with the long throw, headed across the face of goal! And it's in for Lexington. That one looking to be our second own goal of the evening. Let's get another view of this one. Off of Malone. And just like that, it dips in. Mishak Jerome tried to throw his leg up as Nuhu was nowhere to be found there. Not anticipating that one. Just not good execution from Malone. So an overwhelmingly positive first half for Omaha. Made it 4-0 in their favor. Now find themselves back at a 4-2 scoreline like last game. And Lexington, well, at least have something to hang their hat on going in to their next matchup. Caputo playing it over, and Nuhu not even needing to use his hands to stop that one. And he will stall out more of the clock. That one staying in for Bawa. Bawa, nice ball forward for Dolabella. Was just out of his reach as the Brazilian looked to make it 2 on the evening. Yankum goes down. A foul by Norte Norti. Yankum, I think, had the heel of his cleat pushed out.
Lexington Sporting Club goals awarded to Cici Uchin.
This one headed along for Cerritos, booted away by Mastrantonio. Yankum is gonna leave this one. Let the man who threw in the last one do it again, Jorge Corrales. A chance for Lexington to recreate what just happened and a chance for Omaha to make right execution-wise. Corrales chucks it in, headed down and out by Dolabella. Now Mane trying to sneak that one through. And that is how this one will conclude. 4 goals in the first half for the Owls propels them to a 4-2 victory on the road against Lexington. 3 more points for the Owls as they pursue the top of the table. It started with Dolabella, and then it ended with an own goal in favor of Lexington at the end. We'll step aside. When we come back, we'll have the final highlights of the final stats here on ESPN+.
Lexington is the Kentuckiest place in the world. Just look at it. It's by far the bluegrassiest, the bourbonist. See? The artsiest, and hands down, the horsiest. Oh, look, that one has a baby. I don't know why you would look anywhere else. Looking for the coolest, most Kentuckiest getaway? Look at Lexington.
Girls like you aren't runners, they said. Well, I wasn't.
Let's go ahead and get some pictures of that knee, okay?
6 months, down the drain. Give up?
Keep the rhythm going.
Or get up?
Perfect.
Who's not a runner now?
Good, we're gonna take it
You
out.
don't have to be an elite athlete to be treated like one. UK Healthcare, Orthopedic Surgery, and Sports Medicine, the power of advanced medicine.
eventful game at Toyota Stadium ends with a 4-2 victory for the roadside Union Omaha over Lexington. You're watching on ESPN Plus, our post-game content. I'm Mark Schoenster, as we take you into the full-time highlights, starting with the goal from Pedro Dolabella that got things started. It was this penalty by Mendez. He slid into and got tangled up with Lagos Kunga, which meant it would be the Brazilian from the spot, and Dolabella would make no issue with it. 5 goals on the season, 3 goals in Jägermeister Cup play on top of that. Then in the 20th minute, Steven Dos Santos, this the most impressive of the goals scored here this evening. Falls to Dos Santos, bouncing ball, just contorts his body, twists it, and rips it to the far netting. Then, this the most disastrous goal of the game. Poor touch from Emil Knight. Gomez gets to it, passes it to Dos Santos, and he's got 2 goals on the day. And at that point, you're thinking, all right, well, this just looks like it's Omaha's day, and that thought would be confirmed with this bounce off the crossbar from Gallardo. Falling down, Milanese was right there. Caputo had to do something, and it went off his head into the back of the net. 4-0 in favor of Omaha going into the second half. But Lexington would get one back. Some nice passing here amongst the strikers, and Nico Brown would smash it home. That would make it 4-1, and then in the 93rd minute, we'd get a second own goal, this time off of Blake Malone. It's into the same goal as the first own goal, and that is where the game would conclude. 4-2, your final scoreline. And that's where this broadcast will end. We have 2 more League One games this evening that's worth tuning into on ESPN Plus, so be sure to check that out. But for our broadcasting crew, I'm Mark Schoenster saying thank you for tuning in and have a fantastic night. We'll see you next time.
This copyrighted telecast of the United Soccer League League One cannot be retransmitted, rebroadcast, or reproduced without the expressed written consent of the United Soccer League League One.